Class 11. So let's start with this poem, The Spider and the Fly, written by Mary Botham Howitt. So let's see what is there in the poem. The Spider and the Fly first appears in Howitt's collection Sketches of Natural History, that was published in 1834, a series of poems written to educate children about the realities of the natural world. It is a cautionary tale that makes someone cautious. It is a cautionary tale about the manner in which the innocent and gullible means the innocent people, knave, one who can be easily cheated. Innocent and gullible can be won over by the wily and shrewd predators who around in society. So these tales tell us how the innocent people are deceived by the crafty, wily, shrewd people. The poem reads like a fantasy or fable, as the spider and the fly both act and behave like human beings. Ultimately, they act as a metaphor for certain type of people who exist in society. So, first of all, we need to know that this poem is a fable. Fable are the short stories in which animals are given the human characteristics, clear? And these stories intend to teach a moral lesson, like we have read the stories in Panchtantra and all, in which the animals are given the human characteristics, clear? They can speak, they can feel, and the moral of these stories basically is to teach a lesson, clear? So this story is a fable. The two characters are there, the spider and the fly. Okay, now both they are given the human characteristics, and ultimately, finally, they act as a metaphor for certain type of, they both represent the different kind of people, the certain type of people who live in the society, one who is very cunning and the other who are very innocent. Is it clear? This is there in the poem, that how an innocent fly was cheated by the cunning shrewd spider. Got it? And second thing, this poem make the children cautious about the flatterer. It teaches us the lesson that we should not give importance to flattery. Clear? That the poem brings out the message that one should not pay attention to the flattering words, one should not pay attention to the flattery, and we should not be carried away by praises. If we want to keep ourselves safe from the danger, we should not fall into the words of the flattery people. Is it clear? This is there in the poem. Fine, so now let's start. We'll take the first two paragraphs. Will you walk into my parlor? Said the spider to the fly. So the spider asked the fly, will you walk into my parlor? Parlor is a room. The spider invited the fly into his room because the spider wanted to eat the fly, so he was inviting him. The spider was giving all kind of temptation to the fly to come into his den, but the fly refuses. At the end, the spider praised the fly, and the fly agreed to come to his parlor. She was flattered, and she was ready to come to his parlor, and she died. So at the very first, the spider asked the fly, will you come into my parlor? Parlor is a room. Generally we call it a drawing room, we can call it. It's the prettiest little parlor that ever you did spy. Spy means see, notice. The spider tried to tempt the fly, saying, it is the prettiest, it is the most beautiful parlor you have ever seen. The way into my parlor is up the winding stairs. The way of my parlor goes through the winding stairs. Winding क्या होता है? A circular stairs. Clear? And I have many pretty things to show when you are there. And once you come into my parlor, I have many beautiful things over there that I can show to you. This is how the spider is trying to tempt the fly. Oh, no, said the little fly, to ask me is in vain. For who goes up your winding stair can never come down again. Fly, because the fly knew that whosoever went into the spider parlor never come back again. So she very politely she refused the offer of the spider. She said, "Oh no, no," said the little fly. "To ask me in vain, to ask me is useless. Clear? To ask me to come into your parlor is worthless. For the who goes up your winding stairs can never come down again, because whosoever goes into your winding stairs never ever come again. So I am not interested in coming to your parlor." So here fly shows intelligence. Clear? She knew the result of going into the spider's parlor. So very politely she refuses the spider's offer. Fine. Then the spider tried to convince her in another way. He gave her another temptation. He said, "I'm sure you must be weary, dear, with soaring up so high. Will you rest upon my little bed?" said the spider to the fly. He said, "I'm sure you must be tired." Weary means tired. "I'm sure you must be tired by flying." Soaring means fly. By flying so high, you must be tired. "Will you rest upon my little bed?" said the spider to the fly. So he asked, would you like to have a rest on my little bed? There are pretty curtains drawn around. The sheets are fine and thin. There are very beautiful curtains in my bedroom, and the bed sheet that is there on the bed, it's very soft, it's very comfortable. Clear? So he lures the fly by saying that there are pretty curtains and the bed sheets are fine and thin. Clear? "And if you like to rest a while, I will snugly tuck you in." And the spider says that if the fly is ready, if she wanted to rest, clear, I have a I will snugly tuck you in. Snugly means tightly. He said, "If you are ready to rest upon my bed, I am willingly to securely put you on the bed." The spider is willingly to securely, to tightly put the fly into the bed. Snugly means tightly. So if you are ready to rest upon my bed, I am ready to put you there in my bed. "Oh no, no," said the little fly, "for I have often heard it said, they never, never wake again who sleep upon your bed." The fly said, "No." Again, the fly responded in negative because she knew the consequences. She said, "No, because I have often heard that those who sleep on your bed, they never wake again. It's their final sleep." So the fly responded in negative. She denied the spider's offers one again. So children, revise it till here. The rest we will do tomorrow. Thank you.